Hello. Today I would like to identify my carburetor and show you the oil filter, and then move over here and clean the air cleaner, which is that red cylinder right there. Alright, so to start off, I used something called Super Clean because I'd seen another video using it, and what I did was I just put it in a bottle just like this. Didn't dilute it at all. I sprayed the carburetor a little bit. That's how it's now bright red. Turns out that this thing right here is the carburetor. The air comes in, the fuel comes in over here. Let me get that out of the way. Fuel comes into this glass bowl right here. There's some sediment in the bottom, and then the carburetor mixes the air and the fuel and sends it into the engine using this rail. I also learned, because, for example, this muffler is broken off right there. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of not something I can move. But it turns out the air and fuel and the exhaust are in the same big metal manifold. So I'm going to replace that whole thing, which will be fun. But for now, I want to identify the carburetor. So I sprayed it and cleaned it off, and I had known by researching to look for a tag. It should be right there, but it isn't. It's a brass tag that's kind of attached using that little hole right there. But as I look closer, I see that there's actually a rectangular plate right there on the right side of it. I don't know if you can see that. It's right there. Anyway, if I look and get the right kind of contrast with the light, I can see that it says TSX 662. So it's a Marvel-Schebler carburetor TSX 662. It's a known thing that there are a variety of carburetors that are used on these tractors, and then the kits for rebuilding them are match the numbers, of course. Now down here, you can kind of see that it's a shiny, modern-looking canister oil filter right there, and that's a Napa 1515. It turned out that somebody used a kit for upgrading to the canister version. The original oil filter on this was something you could clean out, just like we're about to discover with the air cleaner. This right here is the generator, and that right there is the starter. And I already went over that. That's the air coming in from up here. And then we're going to clean out the air filter right over there. Okay, number one, unlatch oil cup toggles or loosen the clamp, figure 1, and remove the oil cup. I'm using the Ford Tractor Service manual, and this is the air cleaner, and in the bottom of it sits a bunch of oil, and the air gets brought in and then sucked back up through using the oil so that it catches all the dirt, I think. So let's see how this works. Alright, that's loose. Actually looks really clean. I'm going to dump it anyway. Oh, there's not a lot of yuck down in the bottom of that. Ew. Alright. Cool. Then it says, remove the snap ring at the bottom of the filtering mesh and withdraw the mesh from the can. Snap ring. This is a later type. It looks like it's spot welded in place inside the canister, so I'm going to have to remove the canister. Alright, so I had to loosen the air intake to the carburetor, and then out came out this piece. Just kind of dropped down after I unbolted the 2 bolts on here. So now I'm going to clean it. It says to use solvent, but I'm going to use my degreaser on the outside and some diesel fuel on the inside. I guess I'll start with the diesel. Because apparently that's a reasonable solvent for this sort of thing. Alright, so to clean out this air filter, what I'm doing is taking my diesel and pouring it in here while it's in the bucket. That way if any stuff spills over the top or the sides, it's going down in my bucket. And then it filters down through the mesh. And then I take my little container here, pour that gas right in there. It's pretty dirty. but that means that it's getting it clean. That's how I'm doing it. I'm not really sure what to do with the old gas though. Okay, so I've cleaned up the air cleaner a bit and put it back in place. Cleaned up my air intake arm there, and I also replaced a couple battery cables, this one to the starter and the other one behind it to the terminal of the battery. I'm probably going to have to reroute that power right there though. Anyway, now I'm going to reconnect this hose and fill up the oil cup. It's kind of cool. It's got it says oil level right there, both cups. There's kind of a bowl and there's another one, so I fill it with that in there. I don't know why there's two pieces to this, but anyway, that's written on the inside, and then all the gunk was in the bottom of the bottom. Oh, that explains why. All the dirt was down in there. Ugh. So then I put that in there, and then I'll fill it up with 10W40 because that's what I'm putting in the engine. It doesn't really matter what oil you use, I don't think, because it's not connected to the rest of the engine. Anyways, that's how we're going to do. There it is, all put back together. Took just under a quart of oil. I filled the big bowl and then put the little bowl on the inside of it, and it worked out just right. That's that for today.